So let's start sitting. So just come to any comfortable sitting position, so cross-legged or kneeling, whatever works for you. And I recommend sitting on something just under your bum, just to kind of raise your hips up. And also if you're on a cold floor, you know, something to keep you warm. So let's close the eyes. And we'll just spend the first few minutes coming into the body, the breath and the mind. So you can either close the eyes or let your gaze turn downwards, or just let the gaze soften so you're not focusing on anything in particular. And breathing in and out of the nose. So taking your awareness down to your seat, so noticing the parts of your body that are in contact with the ground. Having this sense that the ground, the earth, is there to support you. And then just turning your attention to the breath. So without changing your breath in any way, just observing your natural inhale and exhale. Noticing how your body moves around the breath. And as you're observing the breath, just feeling like your shoulders are away from the ears. Feeling like the face is soft. Becoming aware of the sensation of air passing in and out of the nostrils. And then if you want, either bringing one hand onto the chest, one hand onto the belly, or maybe both hands onto the chest over the heart, or both hands onto the belly. And again, just noticing how the body moves around the breath. So just taking a moment to really notice how you're feeling. Paying attention to your body and to your breath. So throughout the practice I'll give instructions about inhaling and exhaling with movements, but if you need to breathe at any other point then please do so. So these instructions about the breath and the movement are just guidance. And the idea is that you want to be following your own breath length and finding your own rhythm and allowing your breath to lead the movements. And then when you're ready, just dropping the hands and very lightly opening your eyes. And we'll just start by raising and lowering the arms with the breath. So thinking about sitting up nice and tall, so pulling the belly button back towards the spine a little, having this length through the spine, shoulders away from the ears, just starting with the hands out to the side next to the hips. As you inhale, lifting the arms up, palms towards each other. As you exhale, gently lowering the arms back down. So we'll do this a few times. Inhale, lifting the arms up, feeling a sense of length through the spine. Exhale, gently lowering. Good, so we're just getting into this idea of the breath and the movement. Inhale, arms up, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, gently lowering. Good, and again, inhaling. So growing taller as you inhale. Exhale, just engage the abdomen slightly so you're stabilising that length around the spine. Let's do that twice more. Lifting the arms on the inhale, lowering on the exhale. Good, so following the breath once more. Good, and then just finishing with the hands next to the hips. And then we'll just do some gentle side stretches. So when you're ready, inhale, lifting your right arm up. And then as you exhale, just leaning over to the side. Inhale, back to centre. And exhale, lowering the arm. So let's do the other side. Inhale, left arm. Exhale, leaning over. Good. Inhale, back to centre. And exhale, arm down. And again, inhaling, arm up, so feeling length through the side body. Exhale, leaning over. Good. Inhale, back to centre. Exhale, lowering the arms. And again on the other side, so inhale, lifting the arm. Exhale, leaning. If you want to practice with your eyes closed, then you can. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Once more on each side, so finding your rhythm with the breath and the movement. Leaning over as you exhale. Inhale, back to centre. Exhale, lowering the arm. Good. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, leaning over. Inhale, back to centre. Exhale, arm down. You're just pausing there, letting go of any breath control for a moment. And then we'll just do a gentle seated twist. So let's move together. So inhale, arms up. And then exhale, just bringing one hand in front of you, one hand behind, looking towards the back. Inhale, back to centre, arms up. And then exhale, opposite way. So bring the other hand in front of you, the other hand behind. Inhale, back to centre. Exhale, twisting. So one hand in front of you, one hand behind. Reaching the ground, inhale, lifting up, and exhale, twisting round. So just a nice gentle twist with the breath. Inhale, lifting the arms, and exhale, lowering one in front, one behind. Good, let's do that a couple more times so that we finish, so we've worked evenly on both sides. And then finally, as you exhale, just lowering the arms and coming back to centre facing the front. Good. And now let's come up to kneeling. So, sorry, not kneeling, onto all fours. We'll come into the cat. So if you need padding for your knees, take your blanket or double your mat over. And have your hands not directly under the shoulders, but a little bit in front. So there's no kind of sharp angle on the wrists. And we'll just do a few cat movements. So really spread the fingers out. When you're ready, as you inhale, just arching, opening the chest a little. Exhale, rounding, tuck the tailbone under, lift the belly, bring the chin to the chest. So nice and steady with the breath. Inhale, arching the back, so it's like you're shining your heart forwards. Exhale, rounding, chin to chest. Inhale, opening. Good. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under, lift the belly, bring the chin to the chest. Good, so working with the breath nice and slowly, allowing the breath to lead the movement. Good. Just doing that a few more times. Good, so inhale, arching, exhale, rounding. And then after your next exhale, just coming back to neutral, so letting go of that movement. And then, just going to take my socks off. Come to kneeling, so one leg in front, kneeling. So again, if you need to kind of protect your knees, do take extra padding under the knees. So we're just going to do a gentle movement. I'll just show you from this angle actually, where we're just going to stretch the front of the hip flexor. So we're going, I'll just quickly demonstrate. We'll just inhale, arms up, lean forward a little, and then exhale down. So when you come forward, you don't have to come dramatically forward. So it's just a small movement just to get this sense of length at the front of the thigh and the front of the hip flexor. So making sure this foot's nice and firmly on the ground, shoulders away from the ears, lifting in the belly. When you're ready, as you inhale, arms up, just leaning forwards. So lengthening through the front of that thigh, exhale down, coming back up. Good, inhale, just lunging forwards a little. Exhale, pushing down into that front foot to come back up. Good, so inhale, lifting the arms, leaning the foot forwards, lunging, so a sense of length through this thigh. Good, exhale, lowering. So doing that a few times, inhale, arms up, lunging forwards. Exhale, really pushing down into that foot to bring yourself back up. Good, so if you can keep the movement really steady with the breath. Exhale, lowering the arms, pushing down into the foot. Good, and then the next time you inhale, lift the arms. Let's just stay here for a few breaths. So you can have the hands apart facing each other or bring them together if you like, whichever works best for you. And then whilst you're here, just thinking about lifting in the abdomen, so belly button back towards the spine, so you're engaging the core. Shoulders away from the ears. Good. And then on your next exhale, lowering the arms, coming back up to kneeling. And then let's switch sides, so bring your other knee under and split out. Ooh. Good, and then again, if you need extra padding for this other knee, then do take it. Make sure this foot's really firmly into the ground, starting with your shoulders away from the ears. And then as you inhale, lifting the arms and lunging forwards a little. And exhale, just coming back up, lowering the arms. Good, so nice and steady with the breath. Inhaling. exhaling, lowering the arms, coming back up. Inhale, raising the arms, lunging forwards, lengthening the front of the thigh, the hip flexor. Exhale, back up. Good, so really controlled movement with the breath. As you exhale, pushing down into that foot. Good. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, lowering. Good. Once more, inhaling, and then let's stay here for a few breaths with the arms raised into this lunge. Good. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Feeling that length through the front of the thigh, the hip flexor. Keeping the back of the neck nice and long. Good, and then when you're ready on your next exhale, lowering the hands and coming back up to kneeling. And then from here, let's just come up to standing. Good. And just coming to, just adjust this so I can see. So coming to Samasthiti, so just standing with your feet about hip width distance apart, insides of the feet parallel. Let's take a moment to just ground ourselves through the feet. Good, so being aware of the weight on the feet, so feeling like the weight of your body is evenly balanced on your left and your right foot, and the front and the back of your feet. So just taking a moment to notice that, making sure your knees are slightly bent so they're not fully locked back, legs nice and strong. Good, belly button back towards the spine. So your abdomen is engaged, your core is just working a little. Chest nice and open, shoulders away from the ears. Feel like you're growing taller. Good. And then from here we're going to come into a standing forward bend. So I'll just quickly show you as I don't think either of you have been to my classes before. I want to think about using the core to do the work for us. So you're going to use your core. So I'll just show you and then talk you through it. So we'll raise the arms on the inhale, and on the exhale we're going to hinge at the hips and really lengthen forward. So as we come down, we're going to draw the belly in to control the downward movement, and then on inhale, lifting the arms all the way up to standing, and then exhale, lowering the arms. So we'll do that a few times with the breath, keeping it really nice and controlled. So standing up nice and tall, good. And then inhaling, arms out, lifting up. Exhale, bending forward, so hinging from the hips, reaching forwards, then rounding down, hands on the side of the feet onto the ground. Inhale, lifting the arms up to standing, and then exhale, lowering the arms. Good, so it's one nice fluid movement. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, bending forward, so hinging from the hips, and then rounding down, softening when you're down. As you inhale, lift the arms, lift the back all the way to standing. Again, exhale, arms down. Inhaling, so as you lift the arms, keep the shoulders away from the ears. Bending forwards as you exhale, so just bending the knees as much as you need to get the hands either side of the feet on the ground. Lifting up as you inhale. Good, and exhale, arms down. So let's do that twice more in our own time. Allowing the breath to lead the movement. Good. Engaging the core as you bend forwards on the exhale. And when you've come right to the end of that movement, your last movement, just coming back to Samastiti, standing with awareness and letting the breath and the body settle down for a moment. Good, noticing the effects of the practice. And then we're going to come into a wide-legged forward bend. So again, I'll just quickly show you and then talk you through it. So we'll inhale, arms up, and then we'll exhale, come all the way down. And then just a few times on the inhale, we'll just come up to halfway. So at this point, you want to have your back nice and flat, arms out wide, then exhale down, inhale up to halfway. Doing that a few times with the breath, really using the core, so lifting the belly button back towards the spine to really help you with the movement. So taking your feet up nice and wide, insides of the feet parallel, toes pointing forwards, tucking the tailbone under, shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bending forwards, taking the arms out to the side, coming all the way down, hands underneath the shoulders. And then as you inhale, coming up to halfway, hands out to the side. Exhale, rounding down, top of the head towards the ground. Good, inhaling up to halfway. And then exhale, rounding down. Inhale, lifting up to halfway, really extending the fingers out to the side. Exhale, rounding. Good, inhaling up to halfway. Exhale, coming down. And again, so a couple more times with the breath in your own time. Good, inhaling up to halfway, exhale down. The next time you need to inhale, bring your hands to your hips and then come all the way up to standing. And then let's step the feet back together. Returning to Samastiti, just letting the breath settle for a moment. Good. And then we're going to move on to a standing twist. So this is where your all that work with the core really comes into its own, really becomes useful. So again, I'll just quickly show you and then talk you through it. So we're going to do a big sweeping movement. So we'll inhale, arms out, and then we'll just kind of exhale, sweep the hand towards the opposite knee, twisting, and then inhale, kind of sweeping up. And we'll move in alternate directions. And I want you to, when you come out of the twist, start the movement from the core. So you're not kind of straining your lower back in any way. You're really controlling the twisting movement from the centre of the body. So again, feet out nice and wide, toes pointing forwards. As you inhale, arms out to the side. Let's start by taking our left hand to our right knee. So as you exhale, just moving that hand towards the knee, twisting, looking up to the top hand if you can. Inhale, coming back to centre. Good, exhale to the other side, so hand to the opposite knee. You can bend that knee you're moving towards if you like. Inhale, back to centre. Good, exhale, twisting, so hand to opposite knee. Drawing the belly in as you inhale, coming back to centre. Exhaling, twisting. So a nice kind of sweeping fluid movement with the breath. Exhaling, so let's do this once more on each side. Inhaling back to centre. Exhale once more, twisting round. Inhale back to centre. Good, exhale, lowering the arms. And then stepping the feet back together. Closing the eyes for a moment. Letting the breath settle. Again, coming back to samastiti, standing with awareness. Good, so noticing the effects of the practice on the body, on the breath, in between the movements. Good, and then come to standing, so you've got your mat long ways in front of you. We'll come into, so feet about hip width distance apart. Just turn your right foot out slightly, step the left foot forwards. So you've still got that hip width distance in between the feet and the shoulders are square on. And we'll do a variation on the warrior. So again, we're going to bend the front knee. When you bend the knee, try not to move too far over the ankle, but we won't worry too much about that. So when you're ready, as you inhale, just lift the arms up, bending the front knee. Staying here as you exhale. And then we're going to inhale, opening the arms. So it's an open twist. Staying here for a few breaths. So feeling like your fingers are really lengthening away from the shoulders. Lifting the belly. That back foot, the outer edge of the back foot's firmly glued to the ground. Front knee is going over the foot, not knocking inwards or outwards. Good, and then let's do a few movements with the breath. So on your next inhale, coming back to face the front, arms up. Staying here as you exhale, and then inhale, opening. Exhale, back to the front. Inhale, opening. So it's an open twist. Exhale, facing forwards. And then you're inhaling as you open. Good. Exhale, facing forwards. Inhale, opening. And then let's bend that front knee a little deeper. Take our elbow onto that front knee and then lengthen this arm up. So if you've got any shoulder problems, you can bring your arm, your hand and your hip like this. And then having the sense that the chest is nice and open. So that top shoulder's not coming towards the ground, it's lifting up towards the ceiling. Good. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, coming back up to standing, facing the front, exhale, lowering the arms, straightening that knee, and then let's step those feet back together. So again, just coming back to samastiti for a moment. Back to centre. Observing the effects of the practice on the body. Good. And then let's do the same on the other side. So this time turn your left foot out slightly, step the right foot straight forwards, shoulders facing the front of your mat, and again outer edge of the back foot firmly on the ground. So let's inhale, bend the front knee, lift the arms, stay here for an exhale, and then opening up on an inhale. So lengthening the fingers away from the shoulders, pulling the belly in to give you that stability in the core. Good. You can close your eyes if you feel like you've got your balance, or maybe fix your gaze on a point in front of you. Good, so whilst you're here, thinking about keeping the outer edge of that back foot firmly on the ground, shoulders away from the ears. Good, and now let's do some movements with the breath. So as you inhale, coming back to facing the front, staying here for an exhale, and then inhale, opening, lengthening the arms, exhale, twisting around to face the front again. So inhale, opening, lengthening through the arms. Good, exhale, twisting round, facing the front. So doing that a few times with the breath, opening on the inhale, exhale, closing, so you're moving with the hips. And the next time you're in this open position after your inhale, let's bend the front knee a little more, bring the elbow to the knee, stretch out that left arm, the top arm. Stay here for a few breaths. If your arm gets tired, you can bring your hand to your hip, having the sense of the chest being open. Good. And that front leg working really strongly. So that front foot's firmly in the ground, the knee is bent. Good, and then when you're ready on your next inhale, lift yourself back up. Exhale, closing. And then just lowering the arms, straighten that front knee. And then again, bring the feet back together, coming back to centre, standing in Samasthiti. You can close the eyes for a moment. Let the breath settle. And noticing the effects of the practice. Good, and now let's come down to kneeling. So again, my recommendation is always extra padding to protect your knees. And we'll do a movement that I call downward facing cat. So I'll just quickly show you, you might have done this before, or it might be new to you. So I'll quickly show you and then talk you through it. So we'll start kneeling up high, we'll inhale, arms up, and then we'll exhale, move the hips to the heels, and then just circle the hands onto the lower back. And then we'll inhale, lifting up, exhale, arms down. And we'll do that a few times. And as you bring the hips towards the heels, it's like you're drawing your lower abdomen towards the heels. It's a nice controlled movement. If you feel at any point like you're going to accidentally face plant, try and just bring your hips further back. So nice controlled, using the strength of your thighs. So starting by kneeling up high, shoulders away from the ears. When you're ready, as you inhale, lifting the arms up. And then as you exhale, hips towards the heels, taking the hands onto the lower back, holding onto the wrist if you can. Inhale, circling the hands up, coming back up. And then exhale, lowering the arms. So that's one round. So let's do a few more. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hips towards the heels, face towards the ground, hands coming onto the lower back. Good. Inhale, lifting back up to high kneeling, circling the hands over and above the head. Exhaling, arms down. Good. Inhaling. Exhale, hips towards the heels, face towards the ground. Inhale, lifting up again. And exhale, lowering the arms. Good, so you can do this with your eyes closed if you like. Inhale, lifting the arms, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, hips towards the heels, hands onto the lower back. Good, so nice and controlled with the breath. Allowing the breath to lead the movement. Good, let's do one more round. Exhale, hips to the heels, hands onto the lower back. Good, let's stay here for a few breaths. So if it's comfortable for you to stay here, then do. If it's not, then do come out of the pose. But if you feel relatively comfortable here, let's stay just for a few breaths. Good, and then when you're ready on your next inhale, circling the hands over and above the head, lifting back up to high kneeling, and then exhale, lowering the arms. Good. And now let's bring ourselves to lying on the back. So come to lying on your back with your knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And make sure you've got enough space actually to take your hands over onto the floor behind you. So we're going to do that a few times. So checking that now. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then let's just tuck the chin into the back of the neck nice and long. We're going to do some arm raises here. So on your next inhale, taking your hands over onto the floor behind you. As your hands reach the floor, bend the elbows, take the hands out nice and wide, so there's space across the chest. And then exhale, straighten the arms, bring the hands back next to the hips. So with the breath, inhale, hands over onto the floor behind you, hands out wide, elbows bent. Exhale, lowering the arms straight back down next to the body. Good. Inhale, arms up. So your fingernails, wrists and elbows come into contact with the ground, and then as you exhale, straighten the arms, lowering them back down. Good, so you can work with the eyes closed, allowing the breath to lead the movement. And as you raise the arms, really having this sense of openness across the chest, sense of expansion in the body. Exhale, lowering, inhale, raising. Good, maybe just doing that twice more in your own time. Good, nice and steady. So you're really paying attention to your movement, the breath. Good. And then when you come to the end of your final movement, just having the hands next to the body by the hips. And then we'll move on to, we'll start to include the legs. So keep your right foot on the floor, right knee bent, and let's lengthen out the left leg. So we're going to move the left leg first. So on your next inhale, only taking the hands over onto the floor behind you. So you're opening, and then as you exhale, left leg into the air, hands back next to the hip. So the sense of closing. So inhale, lowering the left leg onto the floor, hands onto the floor behind you. Exhale, left foot into the air, hands back next to the hips. Good. Inhaling, lowering the left foot to the ground, hands onto the floor behind you. Exhale, lifting that left foot into the air, hands back next to the body. Good. So with the breath, allowing the breath to lead the movement. Inhale, lowering the leg, opening. Exhale, lifting the leg into the air, closing. So doing that a few times on the left side. So nice and controlled. So exhale, lifting. Inhale, lowering. As you lower the legs, see if you can get the back of the hands and the back of the heel to touch the ground at exactly the same time. Good. Let's do that once more. And then the next time your left leg's on the floor, just leaving it there. And as you exhale, just lowering the arms. And then bending that left leg, stretching out the right leg. We'll do the same on the other side. So on your next inhale, just moving the arms, hands over onto the floor behind you. And then as you exhale, right foot in the air, hands back next to the body. Inhale, lowering that right foot, the right leg, hands onto the floor behind you. Exhale, lifting the leg up, hands onto the floor. Good, so inhale, a sense of opening, so you're lowering that right leg, lowering the hands onto the floor behind you. A sense of space and expansion, and exhale, lifting the leg, a sense of closing. So moving nice and steadily, controlling the movement as you breathe. Good. So just doing that a few more times with the breath. And then the next time your right leg is back on the floor, leaving it there, and then as you exhale, just lowering the arms. And when you come right to the end of that movement, you can just straighten out both legs, just let your legs relax for a moment. Good. And then bending both knees, feet flat on the floor, we're going to do a lying twist. So you want to have your the insides of your ankles touching the insides of your legs glued together. Hands, palms face down, maybe shoulder height, maybe not quite shoulder height. So if you're not quite sure, you can pop your head up and have a look. And then we're just going to move the knees with the breath. So when you're ready, on your next exhale, just moving the knees over to the right and looking over to the left. Inhale, draw the belly in, knees to centre, head to centre. Exhale, moving the knees over to the left, looking over to the right. And then inhale, back to centre. Good, so exhale, knees over to the right, looking over to the left. Inhale, back to centre. So moving on alternate sides with the breath. And your knees don't have to reach the ground. The key point is that when you come back up, bring the knees back up to centre on the inhale, you're starting the movement from the abdomen. So you're drawing the belly button back towards the spine to lift the knees back up to centre. Good. So nice and steady with the breath. And then when you've worked evenly on both sides, just coming back to centre. And then I'll just quickly explain what we're going to do. So we're going to bring the knees into the chest and then twist, come into the twist and then stay there. If you know your knees can't come down to the ground, then do take a pillows or a bolster to support the knees so you can stay there for a few breaths. So bringing the knees over the chest, feet off the ground, arms still out to the side. And when you're ready, on your next exhale, let the knees fall over to the right and looking over to the left. And then let's stay here for a few breaths. So you can land your knees on the bolster or cushions. You can land your knees all the way onto the ground. Or you can even put a bolster in between your knees, like that. So closing your eyes if you feel comfortable. Good. So allowing a sense of surrender in the body. And once again, having this sense that the ground, the earth, is there to support you. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, let's bring the knees back to centre, over the chest, and let's twist to the other side. So as you exhale, knees over to the left, looking over to the right. Staying here for a few breaths. So again, thinking about how you can sustain this posture, you can take pillows under your knees, maybe in between the knees. Good. So focusing on the breath, not controlling the breath in any way, but just noticing as it passes in and out of the body. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, bringing the knees back to centre, and then just stretching your legs out along the ground. So you can just let the legs relax for a moment, just lying in this big star shape. And once your legs have just had a moment to kind of be soft, let's move into Apanasana, knees to chest, so our counter posture. So bring the knees into the chest, holding onto the kneecaps, or maybe just having the fingers in between the thighs and the calves, and just gently moving the knees backwards and forwards as you inhale, knees away from you, exhale, knees towards you, inhale, knees away from you, exhale, knees towards you. So it's a really gentle, slow movement with the breath. Just gently moving your knees backwards and forwards, so as you're inhaling, knees away from you, so your arms are straightening. Exhale, knees towards you, elbows bending. Good. And then if you feel like your back needs something else, like if it would benefit from maybe rocking from side to side, then you can do that a few times as well, or maybe taking circles with the knees a few times in one direction and then a few times in the other direction. Good. And then let's slowly bring ourselves up to sitting, so you can roll over onto one side and then gently push yourself up. And come to sitting on a block or a blanket or something to just raise the hips a little. Oh. So let's just come into Dandasana for a moment. So legs out in front of you, toes up to the ceiling. Just bring the fingertips next to the hips. So you can have the knees slightly bent, so noticing how that kind of lifts you out of the hips. So I'm sure you both know Dandasana means the staff pose, so a nice staff-like straight back, lifting the abdomen, growing up tall. And then we'll move into a seated forward bend. So just bring your right foot in, Bringing the foot to wherever it's comfortable. So if bending the knee like this isn't for you, you can straighten the leg out like this, or you can have the foot into the thigh, or maybe further away, whatever works for you. Sitting up nice and tall, and then let's inhale, take the arms out to the side, and then as we exhale, bending forward, so hinging from the hips, reaching forwards, then just rounding down. And then as you inhale, lifting the arms, lengthening through the spine, all the way up to sitting, and then exhale, lowering the arms. Good. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Exhale, bending forwards, so keeping the chin tucked in so you're not leading with the chin. Good. Dropping the head when you're down. Inhale, reaching forwards through the arms back to sitting. Exhale, lowering. Good, so nice and steady with the breath. You can close your eyes if you like, lifting the arms on the inhale. Bending forwards as you exhale. Just dropping the arms, relaxing the shoulders when you're down. Lifting up as you inhale. And exhale, arms down. Good, so let's do that a couple more times in time with the breath. Bending forwards as you exhale. Good, having that sense of surrendering towards the ground as you come down. Lifting back up as you inhale. Good, doing that once more. And just lowering the arms as you exhale, just pausing here for a moment. And then let's take that right knee, so bringing the right foot onto the ground, and we'll just do a gentle twist so you can interlock the fingers and use that kind of to pull yourself sitting up nice and tall, and then lifting the right arm up next to the ear, and then just taking it behind you, looking behind, and then twisting round. So you can use your left hand to twist yourself around, holding onto the right knee or hugging the right knee in. Good, and then just let's stay here for a few breaths. Having that sense of length through the spine as you inhale, and then just twisting as you exhale. So on the exhale, it's like you're just making micro movements. So only you will be able to see them or feel them. But you're still engaging with the breath even though you're barely moving. And then one last time, inhale, lengthening through the spine. This time as you exhale, just coming back to facing forwards. Let's straighten out our right legs and then do the same on the other side. So bring your left leg in, just having this foot wherever it's comfortable on the inside of your right leg, sitting up nice and tall to begin with. And then inhaling, arms up. Exhale, bending forward, so you're hinging from the hips, reaching through the spine and rounding down. Inhale, lifting up to sitting, and exhale, lowering the arms. Good, so let's do that a few times with the breath. So as you inhale, arms up, shoulders away from the ears, bending forwards as you exhale. Good, nice and steady with the breath. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering the arms to the side. Good. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, bending forward, so you're hinging from the hips, keeping the chin tucked in and just rounding down. Lifting up as you inhale, arms first, then the back. Good. Exhale, lowering the arms. So twice more in your own time. Just allowing the breath to lead the movement. Good. right to the end of that movement. Just pausing here for a moment. And then let's move on to twist. So bringing that left foot onto the ground. You can interlock the fingers, lift yourself up so you're sitting up nice and tall. Lifting the left arm up, just taking the left hand behind you and twisting around. Good. So looking towards the back shoulder if you can. And then closing the eyes if you feel comfortable. And having that sense of inhale, lengthening through the spine, exhale, twisting. You can use that, the right arm to help you twist around. Good, and as you're here, just making sure your left foot is firmly on the ground, right toes pointing up to the ceiling, so the whole body is engaged in the movement. And then when you're ready, on your next inhale, lengthening through the spine, and then exhale, just untwisting, coming back to center, straightening out your bent leg. And then let's come into, in yin yoga we call it the butterfly. So have your feet together, knees out to the side. You want to have quite a distance between the heels and the hips. And we're going to just lean forwards and stay there for a few minutes. So if you have a bolster or any pillows, you can kind of build them up and just allow yourself to kind of surrender to that. So just getting those to hand. So let's start just by sitting up nice and tall, so there's length in the spine. And then when you're ready, just leaning forwards, so you're hinging from the hips. And then you're just rounding down, dropping the head, finding your props. You can rest your forehead on your bolster or your block, or maybe pillows. And let's just stay here just for a few breaths, for a moment or two. If you feel like your knees need support underneath them, then do take that too. So you're taking support that you need to enable yourself to sustain the practice. Good, so having a sense of surrendering towards the ground. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly bringing yourself back up to sitting out of the butterfly. And then we're going to come to lying on the back, just do a few movements of 2-foot support and then come into relaxation. So if you want to kind of put a jumper on or get your socks or a blanket, then now is your moment. We'll do the same. Just so that when we come down to lying on the back, you don't have to disturb yourself too much. So once you have gathered your things, just lying down, feet flat on the floor, knees bent. You can have the arms out nice and wide. And just to kind of, after all our forward bends and butterfly, we'll just raise and lower the hips nice and gently with the breath a few times. So an inhale, let's take the hips up to the ceiling, and then on exhale, gently lower them back down. So let's do that maybe 4 or 5 times with the breath. Inhale, lifting the hips. Exhale, gently lowering. Good. So inhale, lifting, pushing down into the feet. Keeping the chin tucked in. Exhale, gently lowering the hips back down. Maybe doing that a few more times. You don't have to lift up as high as you possibly can as we're coming to the end of our practice. So just keeping it gentle. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, lowering. Good, so just once more. And then when you're ready, coming into your final relaxation posture. So you can lie on the back with your knees bent, maybe knock the knees together. You can just straighten the legs out along the ground. Or if you've got a bolster or pillows, bringing the bolster under the knees. If you prefer to lie on the side or the front, then of course you can do that as well. But just taking what you need to support yourself, so and to keep yourself warm. And then once you have found your lying position and settled yourself onto the ground, let's let go of the idea of just making any movement for the next few minutes and allow the body to relax. So feeling like your body is being perfectly supported by the earth. The earth is rising up to meet you. And allowing the body to relax. Allowing the breath to flow easily in and out. If your mind starts to wander away, you bring your attention back to the sensation of air passing in and out of the nostrils. Or maybe focus your attention on the point in between your eyebrows. If you can, close your eyes, or just let the gaze soften so things become blurry. And allowing the body to relax. So if you are comfortable and warm where you are and you'd like to stay lying down in relaxation, then you are most welcome to do so. If you know you have to move on with the day, I will slowly bring you out of relaxation. So just slowly start to bring a few deeper breaths into the body. And maybe stretching out your fingers, your toes. Maybe rolling your head from side to side, stretching in any way you feel like it at this point. And then if you're lying on your back, bend your knees and roll over to one side and just pause there for a moment. And then when you're ready, nice and slowly, bringing yourself back up to sitting. If you can, keeping your eyes closed, just for a moment or two more. Just pausing here. And we'll practice palming. So rub the palms of your hands together until you feel like there's some warmth in the hands. When you feel like they're warm, just gently placing the palms over the eyes, letting the warmth and the energy bathe your eyes. And then opening your eyes into the dark space, slowly moving your hands away. Bring your hands together in front of your chest in prayer position. And we'll just lean forwards together. Thank you.